This is it. This is the moment when you take the fate of your next Disney World vacation into your own hands to make sure you've got the best tips and tricks to rely on in 2025. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I know why you clicked on today's video. It is for 3 reasons. 1, you're getting ready to go to Disney World in 2025, or dreaming about it at very least. 2, you want to make sure the advice you're learning in preparation for your big trip isn't outdated and gonna let you down. And 3, you're one smart cookie and you knew who was gonna give you the best and newest Disney World tips and tricks that you're searching for. Us, here at DFB Guide. I'm not gonna hold you back. Let's get right into the advice and make sure you're set up for the best trip ever. Having a split Disney hotel stay where you're going to book 2 or more Disney hotels during one trip doesn't just mean calling more than one Disney resort your home away from home anymore. It also means doubling up on free water park tickets. For 2025, everyone who's planning on staying at a Disney-owned hotel, whether it be value, moderate, or deluxe, will receive a free water park day, but only on your hotel check-in day. And that might not feel like a big deal at first until you realize the water park hours are typically 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You don't have a long time in there, which thank goodness, because most rooms usually aren't ready until 3 or 4 p.m. No, you don't have to wait to hit the water park until your room is ready for you. You can head over to the water park just as soon as you're able to and be there for rope drop if you like. But if you're flying in or driving in on your hotel check-in day, really getting the most out of that free water park ticket might be tricky. Because if you don't get to the water park right at 10 a.m. or shortly after that, you're really not going to have a whole lot of time to take advantage of the free perk before the park closes at 5. Plus, you're also not going to get access to those prime lounge chairs, if you know what I mean. That being said, if you have a split stay in 2025, you'll be able to use that complimentary water park admission on both of your check-in days. That's right, 2 free water park tickets. Or possibly even more if you just keep resort hopping and staying at new Disney hotels. That free water park ticket is good for any and all Disney hotel check-in days. So if you run out of time to use your free water park ticket on your first check-in day, you'll still have a safety net where you can use that perk instead later on during your trip when you move into a new Disney hotel. But let's say you're going to double down and make sure you get to use that free water park ticket on your first and possibly only Disney resort check-in day. If that's the case, consider what you're wearing on that first day as well as what you're packing inside your personal item for the plane. You're going to need a swimsuit, cover up maybe, water shoes, sunglasses, and sunscreen. But don't worry about the beach towels. Those will be provided at the water park. You just might want to have beach towels laid out in your car if you're driving so you can put them on your seats to keep them from getting all soaked, since you won't be able to take those Disney park towels with you. Another thing to keep in mind, if you're arriving to the water park straight from the airport, you're gonna still have all your luggage with you, which is fine, that's totally allowed, but I mean, you're gonna have all your luggage with you at a water park. Not ideal. The water parks do have locker rentals that you might want to invest in, which cost $10 to $15 per locker, but the largest ones they've got are like 15 by 17 inches, which is basically the size of a personal item, but not a suitcase. If possible, you might want to swing by your resort first just to drop off your stuff. Even if your room isn't ready just yet, Bell Services will be more than happy to keep a hold of your suitcase until it is. Now let's talk virtual queues. Virtual queues can change at any time, and they do. A virtual queue is a tool available through the My Disney Experience app, which allows you to reserve a space in line for the most popular park attractions. Whenever a ride is using a virtual queue, that means there won't be a regular standby line for you to use. Per the release of this video, the only rides that use a virtual queue are Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot. Tron Light Cycle Run used to use one, but got rid of theirs in September 2024. With all that being said, the virtual queue rules could change at any time, even right after the day this video is released, which wouldn't be the first time that happened to us. Recently, Disneyland got rid of their virtual queue for their version of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so there is a world in which we might see the same thing happening over in Orlando soon too. Only time will tell. Not to mention, when Test Track reopens in Epcot this summer, this revamp could start using a virtual queue as well, which would either take away the one we've been using for Cosmic Rewind since 2022, or it'd mean we'd have to double up on virtual queues in Epcot during the second half of the year. In any case, it's always good to study up on virtual queues. Make sure you're aware of what the current rules are so you don't accidentally miss out on riding something just because you're out of the loop. You can study up on all things virtual queue via our Disney Food Blog website. Just type in disneyfoodblog.com plus virtual queues into your Google search engine. So it's hard to picture a $300 to $400 per person ride line bypassing service saving you money on anything. But let's consider the facts here. Premier Pass is a brand new inclusive option that grants one-time entry into every Lightning Lane in a given park for one price, eliminating the need to monitor Lightning Lane availability and make new Lightning Lane reservations throughout the day. So that means you can simply show up at an attraction and enter the Lightning Lane whenever you want to, as opposed to booking a specific time. So let's think about this in terms of where we think Premier Pass would be most useful. That would be during your Magic Kingdom day. Magic Kingdom might have the priciest Premier Pass across all 4 parks, but with that purchase, you'll receive direct Lightning Lane access to 20 Magic Kingdom park rides and attractions. If you don't go to the parks very often, and this is going to be one of those once-in-a-lifetime trips for you, then splurging on a Premier Pass could save you money simply because you're not going to have to invest in a second Magic Kingdom day to get everything done that you want to get done. And that means you won't have to book an extra park ticket, you won't have to save for an extra day of food, and you won't have to spend money on another hotel night stay. So that's Disney math for you. The only kind of math I'm good at. If there's a certain prescription you're taking that's absolutely essential for you to have each and every day, don't just pack the exact amount that you think you need. Pack extra. This is born out of a situation my mom experienced. It's always my mom, right? She experienced recently on a trip where, of course, there was a ton of snow because she lives in Buffalo and she couldn't get back to Buffalo because of the snow, and she didn't have enough medication to get her through the extra couple of days that she needed before she could get back to Buffalo, right? Right. This can happen to anybody, especially if you're traveling in the winter months or if you're traveling during hurricane season down to Orlando. So if your flight gets delayed or your tire pops and leaves you stranded in Florida for an added day or two, but you only brought enough of your prescriptions for the days you planned on being gone, this could, mean you're kind of up a creek. This goes for not just medications, but also like single-use contact lenses or other day-by-day prescriptions too. So pack a buffer to avoid adding any extra stress to a day that might already be stressful enough. Or turn to plan B. Let's say you didn't pack enough of your prescription medication and now you found yourself in a bit of a pickle. The good news is that you'll never have to go completely without your daily meds, even when you're hundreds of miles away from home. Thanks to the fairly recent partnership between Disney and Advent Health, you now have easy-to-use prescription delivery services at your disposal when you're in Disney World. So if you find yourself in Orlando and you realize you forgot to pack your pills, you didn't pack enough, or you lost them, or anything else, this is how you save the day. Give Advent Health a call and see what arrangements can be made to get your needed prescriptions delivered to your pharmacy of choice or straight to your Disney World hotel. Oh, and here's something really cool. You can also get your prescriptions delivered straight to the theme parks. I have used this before. It is a huge deal. If you need antibiotics, allergy medication, some other prescription on the day of your park visit, Advent Health can have those orders delivered to a spot that's convenient for you. Usually they'll deliver them to Disney's first aid centers in the parks, and then the first aid center staff will hold on to those until you come pick them up. Advent Health's phone number, as listed on the site, is 407-939-7480, and their care concierge service is open daily from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. You can also access Advent Health services through the My Disney Experience app. Just tap on the 3 bars at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and scroll down till you see the accessibility and health services option. From there, you'll be able to go to Advent Health's whole main portal page and see what else they offer. Disney does have a handful of new experiences coming out next year, but none of those hold a candle to what Universal Orlando is getting ready to unleash. Universal is going to open their 3rd park gate, Epic Universe, on May 22nd. And the more I hear about it, the more excited I get. Y'all, did you see that Universal Studios Japan just opened their version of Donkey Kong Country, which Epic Universe will be getting as well? The Minecart Madness ride is still blowing my mind. It really does look like you're jumping tracks with this one. Now, along with Super Nintendo World plus Donkey Kong Country, you'll be able to explore other immersive realms here like Celestial Park and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, which is going to have a very cool coaster, and Dark Universe, which is all the Universal monsters. Plus, Universal will also be opening up 3 new hotels near the Epic Universe Park too. Universal Helios Grand Hotel, which will have a dedicated entrance straight into the park, Stella Nova Resort, opening January 21st, and Terra Luna, which is opening March 25th. But I'm not here to take up a whole Disney World video with Universal talk, so if you want to learn more about Epic Universe before it opens to the public, check out our specific Epic Universe playlist over on our YouTube channel. Like I said, Disney World is coming out with new stuff in 2025. We're getting new shows, new lounges, a new parade. But as far as having any official opening dates for these new additions, we're still waiting patiently. If something you're wanting to see in Disney World next year has a current opening date that's something super vague, like late 2025 or summer 2025, my advice would be to not build your whole itinerary around these future additions yet. Disney's been known to push back dates if they need more time to work on a certain project, which we've seen happen over and over and over again. And just this past year with The Little Mermaid: A Musical Adventure, the show that was originally slated to open in fall of 2024, but has now been pushed to summer 2025. So either you're going to want to A, plan your 2025 vacation regardless, and if an attraction's opening just so happens to fall during your vacation time frame, you can consider it a happy accident. Or B, hold off on making any substantial plans until Disney releases a specific opening date for the attraction you've most been looking forward to seeing. Okay, this just in. Disney is relaunching their free dining plan offering for 2025. You can't see it, but I'm doing a little happy dance right now. So it started January 2nd that you could start booking, and you can book until February 10th. Now you can get a free Disney dining plan with the purchase of a 3-day, 3-night minimum Disney vacation package, which bundles hotel room costs and theme park costs all together. This deal applies to most vacations happening from May 27th throughout June 26th and July 7th through August 6th of this year. So book by February 10th to take vacations during those May to June, July to August timeframes. Now I know free food sounds super exciting, especially when it's Disney food, but make sure to read the fine print of what this promotion entails by visiting Disney's special offers, deals, and discounts page, or head over to DisneyFoodBlog.com for all the details. Disney Cruise Line, DCL. Okay, so back in October, Disney hit us with another wave of price bump ups across the board for their park tickets, their valet parking, and hundreds upon hundreds of food items, which can really throw off your budgeting and make you rethink your whole dining itinerary. And they do it like every year. If you're trying to find the best of both worlds and save money on park dining while also having a nice and unique meal inside Disney World, here are the quick services around property. Those are the fast food spots that are unique and filling, well-themed, and will fool your kids into thinking you really splurged on the nice stuff. First, AUST Cantina in Animal Kingdom. This is located in Pandora and features customizable bowls and cheeseburger pods, aka like a Mickey D's cheeseburger shoved inside a bao bun. Big portion sizes are the name of the game here, even for the kids' meals. Not to mention, I don't think I've ever eaten at a quick service with a more epic score to listen to while I chow down. Makes me feel like a superhero while eating my chips and guzzling down my third soda refill like the soda goblin I am. 2, Docking Bay 7 in Hollywood Studios. Looking for a more heavily themed environment with tasty eats that'll again give you good bang for your buck? Docking Bay 7. This quick service restaurant features delicacies themed to the Star Wars universe, which you'll enjoy as you're surrounded by all the things you'll find in a ship docking bay. My recommendation though, if it's a nice day outside, go eat outside in the little courtyard. It is lovely out there and it's a great way to really enjoy the weather if you have good weather. 3, Polite Pig in Disney Springs. If you're looking for some seriously flavorful eats inside Disney Springs that doesn't require a reservation and are served to you fast and relatively affordably, hit up the Polite Pig. This features modern barbecue and a variety of wood-fired smoked and grilled items, plus all the drinks are served on tap. The owners, James and Julie Petrakis, in partnership with Chef Brian Petrakis, are basically food celebrities in the Orlando area. This particular restaurant is even recommended by the Michelin Guide, so we're definitely not steering you wrong here. Next, Sunshine Seasons in Epcot. There are a lot of things to love about Sunshine Seasons. Plenty of seating indoors. You'll dine in a bright and airy environment with some fantastic attractions nearby, namely Living with the Land and Soarin'. You'll find a good variety of food options on the menu, making it an attractive dining location whenever you're on a budget and eating with a group of people whose taste buds may not all be alike. Just keep in mind that at the moment, Sunshine Seasons is only open during breakfast and lunch with just snacky items served around dinner. That could change though. Check those park hours. Next, Columbia Harbor House in Magic Kingdom. Now, you could argue that Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe might be the quick service to aim for instead at Magic Kingdom, just because you'll be serenaded by the intergalactic stylings of Sunny Eclipse while you're there, but we do tend to prefer the food over at Columbia Harbor House in Liberty Square tenfold. Columbia Harbor House has a 2-story dining room where if you go upstairs, $50, you might be able to snag a table with a view of the Haunted Mansion. Not to mention, the surf and turf here really does give you the best bang for your buck, especially all those platter options that could come with shrimp skewers or fried shrimp or beer battered fish or chicken strips or even a combo of shrimp, fish, and chicken. Platters tend to range between $11 and $15. There are a lot more quick service good-uns that you can rely on during your next Disney visit, and you can learn about a whole lot more of them through our most recent DFB YouTube series, our super fantabulous 2025 Disney Crash Courses. Don't gamble on festival booths. As we start to learn more and more about the 2025 Epcot festivals, we've got the dates for Farts and we have the dates for Flower and Garden. I feel like this is a good time to remind you that food booths for the Epcot Fests aren't necessarily open all day long. Most booths actually open at 11 a.m. unless they serve breakfast, and then they run until shortly before the park closes. Unlike the rides, you may not be able to get in line for a booth right at 8:59 p.m. for a last-minute bite. And on occasion, if Epcot decides to stay open a little later, like until 10 p.m., which it tends to do during its busier seasons, some festival food booths might still close at 9 p.m. So if you're hungry and you want to try one more festival item before calling it a day, make sure to snag those eats before you start settling down for fireworks. And never doubt your Disney dining choices ever again. Did you hear the news? Because if you didn't, good. I wanted to be the one to tell you about it anyways. The team and I have been working super hard to revamp that DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining just in time for your 2025 vacation. And we did it. And you can purchase it right now over on dfbstore.com. So what changes have we made exactly? Well, let me just show you. Here's what our guide pages looked like before. Still informative, still beautiful, but a lot. And here's what they look like now. Easy to digest, a gorgeous layout, still all the same information and tips that will be perfect for your next visit. If you want to pick up a guide today, don't forget to type in code YouTube so you can save some extra money on your total purchase. Ooh, check and see if your favorite restaurant is now a dining package. For the past couple of Epcot festivals, we've seen more and more restaurants added to festival dining packages, which means in 2025, you'll have even more opportunities to purchase a festival dining package than ever before. What's a festival dining package, you might be asking? Well, basically, you'll pay for a meal at one of Epcot's select restaurants, and you'll also be guaranteed VIP seating at one of the shows taking place in the America Gardens Outdoor Theater that day. This basically happens during festivals most of the time and can be a great way to save your spot for when really popular artists or performances roll into town. Typically, your meal's going to include an entree and dessert or one full buffet, as well as a beverage, which can be alcoholic for guests 21 and older, or non-alcoholic for everybody. But at Spice Road Table, you'll get 2 small plates, a shared tagine, a shared dessert platter, and a beverage. All dining packages can be purchased in advance, except for Regal Eagle Smokehouse, which can only be purchased on the same day as your visit on a first-come, first-served basis, since it's going to be your cheapest dining package at $39 per adult. Disney After Hours events are returning to Disney World in 2025, and I am super jazzed because I love these things. They are limited ticket events, great for enjoying low crowds and low wait times at popular attractions after the parks close for everybody else. It's basically my perfect experience of Disney World because there's like nobody there. But something particularly exciting will be returning to the Magic Kingdom After Hours events. Disney revealed that during Magic Kingdom After Hours, the 50th anniversary fireworks show, Enchantment, will still be performed. This means that folks who visit Magic Kingdom during these special events will be able to see 2 fireworks shows, Happily Ever After and Enchantment, on the same night. This is double prizes, and it's very rare. In 2025, the After Hours events will kick off on January 6th at Magic Kingdom and will continue to be available on select nights leading up until May 19th. While Disney's bus transportation is often the easiest solution to getting around the parks, it can also make you all jittery wondering, how long is this going to take? But here's the good news. You can actually track your Disney World bus on Google Maps. To start, you'll need to put your starting location and final destination in the app, then select the Public Transportation tab. Here, it's going to tell you how long the path will take. From there, click on the route you're interested in to get a full breakdown of what the trip will be like. If you select the bus option from the last screen, it'll take you to a full bus schedule tab, and this shows when the Disney buses are expected to arrive at the bus stop throughout the day. But the real kicker is that when you tap on the bus you want to ride, the app will track it for you. This is a huge tip. And honestly, I hope you're happy you clicked on this video just for this tip because it is a big deal, my friends. A big deal. The more we use these, the more we love them. These waterproof shoe covers have become a must-pack item for us. They solve the problem of having to walk around with wet shoes after an Orlando downpour or a good soaking after Tiana's Bayou adventure. Now, we are in the parks every single day. We have been in the parks during hurricanes. We have been in the parks during flooding. Believe me, these are game changers. They slip over your shoes, easy peasy, and yeah, they might kind of clash with your Disney bounding outfit, but I find that way better than having to endure the wrath of moist socks. Plus, these covers have grooved bottoms to help keep you from slipping and sliding when you step into a typically slick area, which is more than we can say for those Crocs. Orlando is already known for getting super hot, but this past summer, they experienced record-breaking heat, which will more than likely be the same trend in 2025. So while preparing for scorching days isn't a new tip for Disney, 2025 is going to slap you over the head with that reminder, especially if you're planning on going in late May, June, July, August, or early September. So here's what you need to remember. 1, wear comfortable, light clothing like a tank or flowy sundress or soft cotton Disney-inspired shirt straight from the dfbstore.com shelves. We've even got new styles for you to choose from that'll be perfect for your 2025 vacation. We got that Happy Place matching family tee, our Experiment 626 design, which Bria loves, even our Magic Kingdom vintage stamp set, which is my personal favorite at the moment. 2, just like when you're at the water parks, remember to bring your sunglasses and sunscreen to shield yourself from those rays. Ball caps and UV umbrellas are getting more and more popular, and they're nice to have on hand to protect those sensitive scalps. Really, we're seeing lots of UV umbrellas these days. 3, carry a small fan and cooling towel to help give you some relief while you're waiting around in an outdoor line. In fact, just the other day we found this portable fan that you can clip onto your belt or bag to provide you with a personal breeze, and you don't have to hold on to it all day. The fan has a battery life of 24 hours, so it's ready to go all day without dying, which is not something I've ever seen before. It also has several other functions, like being a power bank for your phone, an LED light, and an SOS light too. Not to mention, when you're not at Disney World, this thing can still be useful for other outdoor activities, or you can just set it on your desk to be a fan for your office. 4, stay in shaded and air-conditioned areas as much as you can, like indoor shows, gift shops, restaurants, and side exhibits. And I think that's everything. Yep, nothing else. Not one other thing that you need to remember. Now, you might want to reconsider a late summer or early fall trip. I will stand by my word that a Disney World vacation toward the end of August, throughout the month of September, and around the beginning of October is still a stellar time to visit just because the crowds are a whole lot lighter and the prices for things drop down while the demand isn't so high. However, I will advise you that if you do plan to take a trip around this time, you need to keep an eye on the weather, because this is when the peak of hurricane season tends to happen. I'm not saying a hurricane's gonna happen, but if we look at the past few years for guidance, hurricanes and tropical storms have been pretty much an annual thing for this Florida area around this season. In 2024, Hurricane Milton forced the parks to close on October 9th and 10th, and Hurricane Helene also caused emergency conditions, like canceling one of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties and closing Typhoon Lagoon on September 26th. In 2023, Tropical Storm Idalia didn't fully close the parks, but it did make for some pretty wet and rainy days for guests and caused a lot of ride closures. And in 2022, Hurricane Ian closed the parks from September 28th to the 30th, while Hurricane Nicole swooped in for a late storm closure around November 9th to the 10th. Again, hurricane is never guaranteed during hurricane season, but it's always good to study up on Disney's cancellation policies and keep track of your AccuWeather app so you know exactly how to prepare if 2025 does happen to hit us with another major storm. In summer 2025, a new nighttime parade, Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, will be dazzling the streets of Magic Kingdom. We don't know for sure when exactly this parade is opening just yet, nor do we know how many showings this parade will be having each night. But according to Disney history, there's the possibility that it might have 1 showing during the slower seasons and 2 during busier seasons. But again, that's just my prediction. At any rate, when Disney Starlight does release, you'll want to check on those updated showtimes via your My Disney Experience app, just like you'll want to check on the showtimes for all the other performances that happen throughout Disney World. Because if there is a second performance that'll be happening for Disney Starlight Parade, you might prefer to go to that performance instead, since again, as history has proven, many families like to prioritize the first showings of Disney's nighttime entertainment so they can wrap up their days a little earlier and get the kids to bed at a decent hour. So sometimes those later parades can be totally empty. Minivans, aka Disney's own rideshare service that's bookable through the Lyft app, can be a super convenient way to get you from point A to point B across Disney World property. But let me warn you about two things before you rely on them entirely. One, minivans are typically pricier than a regular rideshare service. The last time I was at Magic Kingdom and trying to book a rideshare, a minivan was going to cost me $40 while a regular Uber was going to cost me $15. Some folks do prefer splurging a little more for the minivan though, since minivans will pick you up from the Magic Kingdom closer to the front gate, while a standard Uber or Lyft will pick you up at the Transportation and Ticket Center, meaning you'll still need to catch a ferry or monorail to reach it. Minivans also guarantee two clean and safe car seats, which are super useful if you have littles in tow. Second thing to remember about minivans, they are extremely limited. There's a good chance that if you book a minivan right when you're at a minivan pickup area for whatever park or resort you're at, you might have to wait an extra 15 to 30 minutes before it gets to you. Or if it's toward the end of the night, you might find yourself out of luck for getting a minivan at all, since they'll be completely booked up. While you can't pre-book a minivan, it's not a bad idea to book one 30 to 40 minutes before you're about to leave the park, just to give it time to reach you and give you time to reach it without having to wait on the side of the curb for what feels like forever, regretting your choices. If you were around the Disney scene during Epcot's big multi-year transformation, then you know how much construction can impact your Disney visit, especially if you aren't prepared for it. Throughout 2025, construction is going to be on a much larger scale because 3 of Disney World's 4 parks are about to start getting some major makeovers. This includes Animal Kingdom for the new Tree of Life show and Pueblo Esperanza area replacing Dino Land, Magic Kingdom for its future Villains Land and Cars re-theme around Frontierland, and Hollywood Studios for its future Monsters Inc. area that'll be taking over Muppets Courtyard. Construction everywhere. There's no way to completely plan around park construction during a 2025 visit. That's just going to be the truth of things for a while as Disney prepares to open some really exciting stuff for us in the future. However, even with these major construction projects going on, the majority of the parks will still be alive and well and ready to show you a fun-filled day with a family. So set your expectations, brace yourself for some areas of the park that might break your suspension of disbelief for a little bit and might be a little confusing and kind of maze-like, and keep on keeping on for several jam-packed days of rides and restaurants and shows. And along with areas of the Disney World park switching over to construction mode next year, there will also be several Disney rides that'll be closing for general refurbishments. Some of those refurbs are going to last a long time, some of them for a shorter period of time. But depending on when you're planning on visiting, here are the extended ride closures that we know about so far. Big Thunder Mountain in Magic Kingdom, going to be closed for at least a year, beginning January 6th, 2025. Kali River Rapids in Animal Kingdom will also close on January 6th. There's no exact timeline for when this ride is scheduled to reopen yet. We just know it's listed as temporarily closed throughout the end of the current calendar that's available on the website. That goes out to mid-February per the release of this video. Grand Fiesta Tour in Epcot is following the same suit, closing on January 6th, but we do know it's slated to reopen on March 15th, 2025, so there's a light at the end of that tunnel. And Astro Orbiter in Magic Kingdom recently announced an extended closure starting January 13th and slated to reopen summer 2025. Test Track in Epcot has been closed since this past summer, so we're already pretty used to it being down for the count by now, but the revamped version of this ride is currently set to open in late summer 2025. Now, I hate goodbyes, but it'd feel wrong for these classic attractions to go away without us at least saying a quick toodle-doo to them, and I expect you probably feel the same way. So whether you're going to the parks as a Disney expert or as a first-time guest in 2025, here are the attractions you'll want to see before they hit the high road for good. Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island are slated to close in early 2025 to make way for the new Pixar Cars area, so you got to get there quick. All of Dino Land will be closing by the end of 2025. While the dinosaur ride will remain open throughout the rest of the year, the first phase of closures for Dino Land will be happening on January 13th, taking away Triceratops Spin, Fossil Fun Games, and Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures, which is an absolute tragedy because that particular store is so fascinating. There are so many little Easter eggs in there. So if you haven't been in there in a while, go check it out. It's Tough to Be a Bug will also be closing in Animal Kingdom sometime soonish to make space for the new Zootopia Better Together show, slated to open inside the Tree of Life by late winter 2025. And while we don't have any official closing date for the Muppets Courtyard yet, when it does close to start making way for the new Monstropolis section, we'll be losing Muppet Vision 3D, Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano, and Pizza Rizzo. Okay, now that Tom Sawyer Island is heading to the big Disney attraction haven in the sky in 2025 to make way for the new Cars attractions that'll be taking over this space, we are in need of a few different quiet places to escape when the crowds of people are starting to feel too people-y for our liking. So here are some of the quiet spots that we still like to venture over to inside Magic Kingdom that'll remain open in 2025. AFAIK. 1. The Yellow Storybook Circus tent. Just past Pete's Silly Sideshow, you'll find a yellow tent overhang that really blends in with the area, so it's one of those hidden in plain sight kind of places. Inside this tent, you'll find ample charging outlets for USBs and outlets alike, as well as tons of seating to help you recharge, literally and figuratively. 2. Tomorrowland Terrace. This used to be a little quick service dining location that would occasionally open during peak seasons. We haven't seen it open in a real long time. These days, it's really only ever used during the Magic Kingdom fireworks dessert viewing parties in the evening. So during the day, it's basically a big open space where nothing's going on, making it a quiet hangout if you need to get away from all the hoopla. 3. The somewhat hidden areas. There are a couple of spots in Magic Kingdom that are more off the beaten path that can be a great place for a quick breather. Center Street off of Main Street USA doesn't lead to anywhere in particular, but there are some tables and chairs over here that you can relax in if they're available. You can find it right between Crystal Arts and Uptown Jewelers on the right side of the street if you're walking into the park. Another place that's kind of tucked away is near the gazebo in Liberty Square. It's right before you get to Ye Olde Christmas Shop if you're entering the land from the hub, aka the main area where the castle is. During events like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, this is usually where characters like Santa Claus will meet and greet, so this tip only applies during normal park hours if a character meet and greet isn't happening here. I know not everyone is thrilled with the new Communicore Hall and Plaza in Epcot, but little by little, we're really starting to warm up to this place. I mean, just this past Festival of the Holidays, Communicore Hall housed a Spaceship Earth gingerbread replica that actually put on a light show every 15 minutes. If you want to win me over, give me something Spaceship Earth inspired. That's all I need. And outside on the Communicore Plaza stage during the fest, there was this really beautiful, joyful A Celebration of the Seasons set that happened multiple times throughout the day, featuring upbeat gospel and R&B and holiday songs that get your toes tapping. I don't know. I think with a little more time and with more offerings on Disney's end, we could learn to love the Communicore area. So don't skip over this building if you're planning on going to Epcot during a 2025 festival. You never know what might be happening both inside and out of it. We have high hopes for Festival of the Arts. Okay, the My Disney Experience app is updating all the time to make your future visits easier to navigate. That being said, if you don't know about said updates, then these might become more confusing than they are helpful. So here's a quick recap of the My Disney Experience app's most recent dining reservation updates, just in case you need to catch up before your next visit. First off, whenever you book advanced dining reservations, you can now choose a range of dates. Before, you could only search for one day at a time and would have to go back and adjust your search as needed. Now, with this update, you can see what's available multiple days out, making it much easier to plan when you want to dine at a certain restaurant. Secondly, not only can you search for multiple days at a time, but you can also choose what reservations you want to be shown. Reservations are divided into 3 categories now. Morning or breakfast time is any reservation before noon, afternoon and lunch is any reservation between noon and 4, and evening and dinner is any reservation after 4 p.m. You can also search for all-day reservations as well, which really makes it so much easier to find the time you want to dine without feeling like you're being sent on a scavenger hunt to earn it. Now, this is for all you folks out there who are a lot like me and search Yelp for pictures of food before you order something. Before, if you wanted to see what a menu item looked like at a certain Disney quick service, you would need to start a mobile order to see a picture of the dish. While you didn't have to complete the mobile order if you didn't want to, you'd still have to act like you were starting one to view it. And you can still do this. However, Disney recently added a new feature on the app, making it easier to see some restaurant photos. When you're looking at a mobile order location via the My Disney Experience app, you'll see a picture in a circle next to the restaurant's name. Around the circle, there will be a blue outline, similar to what you'd find on social media for a story you haven't gotten the chance to view yet. Simply tap on the picture and voila! You can now go through the mobile order gallery. This is incredible, y'all, because back when I started Disney Food Blog 15 years ago, Disney didn't even have their menus on their website. They didn't have an app. They didn't have any menus on their website. They certainly didn't have pictures of the food, which is why we started the blog in the first place. And so it's awesome that they're actually giving us at least a few pictures of what they have produced.
Hey everyone, it's Bria. If you've been following this channel for a while, then you probably know me as the scriptwriter, or the Disney pin trading fanatic, or the girl that can get lost inside a brown paper bag. And the latter option is why I'm actually here today. I wanted to tell you about the last time I went to Disney and I made a wrong turn and entered into the Magic Kingdom parking lot instead of the Epcot one. That is not the first time I've done that, so I'm guessing it's not going to be the last either. Now, if you haven't been to the parks before, a mess up like this might be really stressful at first. However, all you've got to do to make things right is let the cast member at the parking lot entrance know what's up. You made a wrong turn, and you just need to turn around. This happens to guests more often than you'd think, so cast members at the park gates are pretty chill about it. They'll just tag your car by placing a little paper under your windshield wiper, signaling to the parking attendants that you're not there to stay and you can be right on your way. For the record, if you're not staying on property at a Disney-owned hotel, parking at the theme parks each day will cost $30. However, that $30 fee will cover you for the entire day, so you don't have to worry about paying for parking again if you're going to be hopping between the parks.
Okay, please let us know in the comments if you've done what Bria did, because I've done that a million times too. Like a million times, which means I haven't learned my lesson in the first place. It happens all the time. Anyway, moving on, number 29. If you're wanting to save money during your 2025 Disney World visit, many Good Neighbor hotels are less expensive yet still have some similar hotel perks to the Disney-owned resorts, like early theme park entry, which will allow you to visit any of the parks on any day 30 minutes before they open for the general public. But in order to access those hotel perks, you're going to need to make sure Disney associates your Good Neighbor hotel booking with your My Disney Experience account. Let me restate that a different way. Unless you do this thing that we're about to tell you to do, even if you're staying in a Good Neighbor hotel, Disney has no way of knowing that you're actually staying in that Good Neighbor hotel, so nobody's going to let you in 30 minutes early unless you do this next thing, okay? Was that more confusing? Probably. All right, here's what you need to do. Go to the Disney World website, click on the My Disney Experience tab, select the My Plans option from the drop-down menu, because of course you already have an account, right? Log into that account. From there, click on the resort hotel and then choose to link a reservation. You're going to be asked to type in your last name and your hotel confirmation number, and then you should be all linked up and ready to go. So there's going to be no questions from Disney once you try to get in for early theme park entry. The Swan and Dolphin and the Swan Reserve are 3 Disney area hotels that aren't owned by Disney, though we forget about that sometimes because they are so convenient for Disney guests. These are actually owned by Marriott, which means you can use and earn Marriott reward points when you stay there. Plus, Disney offers many of the same deluxe resort perks to Swan, Dolphin, and Swan Reserve guests, meaning you can take advantage of theme park perks like extended evening hours. Since these hotels are owned by Marriott and not Disney, they have their own app apart from the My Disney Experience app. And you can download the Swan and Dolphin mobile app to keep track of your reservation and to see things like restaurant menus and amenity hours. But the coolest part about this app is that it also has an in-room dining feature, which you're not going to find at the Disney-owned resorts. You can order in-room dining, that's room service, for breakfast and dinner at the Swan and Dolphin, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the Swan Reserve. And while you're ordering, you can choose to have that food immediately delivered up to your room, or you can pre-order your meal for delivery at a later time. So if you're on a bus back to the hotel and your kiddo's going to be taking a nap right away, you can pre-order your meal for a time when you plan for them to wake up. It's super handy, and again, room service has not come back to Disney-owned hotels except for the Grand Floridian since 2020, so this is a huge perk that not enough people are talking about. Caramel butter bars, giant Mickey sugar cookies, and cupcakes with surprise icing filling inside just the way I like them. Yep, picking up a Disney goodie at one of the park's confectionaries can make your visit so much sweeter. However, typically you don't have to be in the parks to get some of Disney's best sugary treats. This is one of my favorite tips, and nobody talks about it. If you're exploring the Disney resorts for the day, and you just so happen to stumble upon a hotel gift shop that has a bakery display case, many of the same in-park treats will be featured inside these display cases too, because they're all made at a central bakery, and they're all sent out to all these different bakery cases every day. This also goes for Disney-owned confectionery locations inside Disney Springs, like the recently reopened Candy Cauldron and Goofy's Candy Company. So that caramel butter bar that I absolutely adore, that a lot of people think you can only get at Caramel Kusha in Epcot. Nope, you can actually get it in Magic Kingdom. You can get it over in Animal Kingdom. You can get it at the Boardwalk Inn. Yes, you can. Disney's value resorts are massive, and depending on what building you're placed in, you might be walking a whole lot more each day than you expected to. Fortunately, you can purchase a preferred room for a few dollars extra each night, like $15 to $20 more, if you want to stay in a room that's close to your hotel's main amenities, like the lobby, the food court, the gift shop, and the bus and Skyliner stations, and usually the main pool. So the Cake Bake Shop opened over at Disney's Boardwalk Inn at the end of October, and it's become quite the popular dining destination ever since, especially for like mother-daughter date days or big-time celebrations. Initially, Cake Bake Shop reservations could only be made through the Open Table website, but now Cake Bake Shop reservations can only be made through the My Disney Experience app and the Disney World website, or by calling a Disney World dining agent. Though that might take you a bit more time since Disney's phone lines can get pretty congested. If you want to secure your spot at a table for this new restaurant, you'll want to make sure to mark your calendars for when you're 60 days out from your visit, which is the earliest you can start booking advanced dining reservations. You can book online via the Disney World website starting at 6 a.m. Eastern, but we recommend trying to book as early as 5:45 a.m. since sometimes the website will open a bit early. If you're calling, phone reservations don't open until 7 a.m., which puts you at a slight disadvantage, but doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get the dining reservation you're after. More than likely, it just means you're going to miss out on the first dibs for cake bake time slots. You can now stay at 2 new Disney Vacation Club locations during your 2025 vacation: the Island Tower at Polynesian Village Resort and the Fort Wilderness Cabins. And while both of these spots have spacious and scenic rooms that'll make for a super memorable Disney World stay, there's no hiding the fact that you're going to have to pay a pretty penny each night to stay at either of them. But that doesn't mean you have to pay full price for a Disney Vacation Club room if you don't want to. If you purchase a Disney Vacation Club rental through a reliable third-party website like David's DVC Rentals, you can potentially save hundreds of dollars on your upcoming stay. David's DVC Rentals makes sure the rental you're wanting to book from a DVC member isn't going to fall through on you for whatever reason and scam you out of a bunch of money. But on the flip side, they're also going to protect the person on the other end of the deal who's renting out their DVC points to make sure that person receives their promised payment. When you rent DVC points through David's DVC Rentals, you could potentially rent a room for 30 to 50% less than it would cost you to book the room directly through Disney, especially when it comes to those studios. But with that being said, this does mean you'll be dealing with a final sale policy, so it's best to fully read up on those DVC rental terms and conditions before committing one way or another. Okay, it's official. The brand new Wulu Island Bar and Grill over at Polynesian's new Island Tower is trying to win us over big time, and it's kind of working. At Wulu, you can order South Pacific Island-inspired cuisine like sweet potato hummus and poke bowls and sticky pork ribs, but you can also order a Dole Whip sundae made with hibiscus meringue, macerated pineapple, and lots of berries. Just another new and interesting way to enjoy this icy yet classic Disney World treat. Wulu is a casual walk-up experience, so no need to worry about advanced dining reservations for this one. Just take a monorail ride on over and see what all the fuss is about. So Bria likes the new hardwood floors, or I guess vinyl floors, popping up in all the new and refurbished Disney hotels, but I really miss having something soft and plush and warm under my feet when I wake up in the morning, especially if I'm visiting Disney during the winter when things get kind of chilly. Which is why another new item I've been packing for my vacations lately has been a pair of comfy, cozy house shoes or slipper socks that I keep at the side of my bed, making those hard, cold floors a lot more bearable. So if you got a pair of slippers or something, just throw them in the suitcase, because if you're like me and you like carpeted floors in your bedroom, you'll appreciate it. Okay, listen, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. So if you want a Mickey Mouse shaped lollipop saver from the Disney gift shops for $11, by all means, get one. However, we found that you can save those giant lollipops just as easily by sticking them in a Ziploc bag, aka my favorite park bag accessory nowadays. Plastic bags are also good for storing wet socks and saving other snacky foods, especially of the chocolate variety if you don't want them melting all over your bag, and for keeping your electronic devices nice and dry when you ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom or Kali River Rapids in Animal Kingdom. There's lots of benefits for those plastic bags. I literally pack them on every single trip I take, Disney World or not Disney World, and I always end up using them. So don't spend $11 on a lollipop saver. Buy a whole box of plastic bags and use them instead for all kinds of stuff. Can't put your wet socks in a lollipop saver. That's all I'm saying. All right, guess what? We've recently updated our top 10 Disney World restaurants guide to give you a free and quick look at the restaurants we deem as our all-time favorites for each Disney World park. That's awesome, right? Yeah, it's totally awesome. These guides not only come with colorful pictures and restaurant locations and speedy little blurbs about each place, but we've always ranked them to show you which restaurants are our all-time favorites in each park, as well as Disney Springs too, which we consider an unofficial fifth park gate for Disney. To pick up this new guide, which is again totally free, in time for your 2025 trip, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now or head to disneyfoodblog.com/top restaurants as soon as we're done with this video. Don't worry, I'll remind you at the end.
Hiya, I'm back. Did you miss me? Recently, I recorded a video with the All Ears team, but I'm not going to spoil anything beyond that because, well, you're going to have to go watch that video yourself. But here's what I will say about it. Part of that video had me and my teammate chatting with cultural representatives around each of the World Showcase pavilions. And it was one of my favorite challenges just because these cast members are so awesome and so eager to talk about the countries that they are from. I even chatted with a cast member in the KidCot area of Japan, and she wrote down different words for me in Japanese on a KidCot postcard to help me remember them. And I ate that up. Like, how cool is it to just have that information at our fingertips from first-hand sources? That is beyond awesome. So if you're taking time to really browse around the World Showcase and you want to learn even more about the country's culture, go ahead and ask one of the cultural representatives about it. You can see exactly where they're from in each respective country via their Disney name tag. Just keep in mind that these cast members are busy bees, so while I know they love talking about where they're from and giving you the extra layer of insider knowledge too, you always want to be respectful of their time and respectful of them, period.
Okay, not necessarily a new tip, but a tip that I'll more than likely still forget at least once during one of my 2025 visits, so I figured you might too. Disney World security uses high-end metal detectors, so you can bypass the long, tedious process of having to get your bag checked. You'll simply walk through the detector, wave at the security guard all nice and friendly, and be on your merry little way. However, these metal detectors tend to go off when items like umbrellas or glasses cases or electronics or other metal-based items are still hiding out in your park bag. And that means you're still going to have to go through the more thorough bag check procedure, which is even more thorough than it used to be, just because of your metal water bottle or portable charger. If you're carrying any of these items or an item that has some sort of metal on it that might trigger the sensors, make sure to remove them from your bag and hold them out in front of you while you go through security. The machine will still beep, but security will be able to see what you're holding and wave you on through. Sometimes even if you do all the steps right though, you still have to go through a more thorough bag check. Happens to me all the time when I have my laptop with me. Which is okay. We're just glad Disney's taking those extra measures to keep everybody safe. So even if you get pulled over, be cool and be nice. The Disney refillable mugs that you're probably going to hear the most about are the ones that you can only use around the resorts at select quick service locations. However, there are a couple of ways you can get unlimited soda refills for certain parks, just not with a resort rapid refill mug purchase. The Disney water parks have their own refillable mugs for sale that you can use for unlimited refills. Those come in handy during your free water park day. Intergalactic drinks, funky beats from a retired droid, and new cheesy bar snacks. Things have really been popping over on the AUST Cantina scene recently inside Galaxy's Edge. But if you're wanting to check out this spaceport bar during your 2025 visit, don't forget the following rules. 1. While most Disney World lounges and bars don't require an advanced dining reservation, AUST is one of the few that does take them. That being said, you may still be able to find last-minute availability on the day of your visit through the My Disney Experience app or by asking a host outside of the cantina. 2. There's very, very, very limited seating at AUST, so there's a good chance you'll be snacking and sipping and standing during your entire visit, and potentially right next to a bunch of strangers. And 3, there is a 45-minute time limit for each party, so don't expect to enter the cantina and just chill there for the remainder of the afternoon like we kind of do at Nomad Lounge. This place is small but popular, so Disney has to make sure to keep a revolving door open for this place at all times. Okay, here's a very interesting new tip. Not every hotel room in Disney has a bathtub anymore. In fact, many of the recently remodeled rooms are mostly walk-in showers. For those without babies, this may be your preferred way of getting cleaned off these days, but the no bathtub thing can be tricky for parents of little ones who are used to taking baths back home, or who can't really take showers yet because they're just too itsy bitsy. If you use the mobile check-in feature on the My Disney Experience app, you'll find an option that lets you make basic room requests, like picking what floor you want to be on, or your room view, or how close you are to certain resort amenities, like the lobby or transportation. But if you have a more specific request, like a room with a bathtub, be sure to call your resort directly and speak to a cast member. You're not always going to be guaranteed said request, but a cast member will make a note of it in your file, and the resort will do their best to make it happen for you. But it's not a bad idea if you have little ones to invest in a collapsible portable tub to take with you, just in case you aren't placed in a room with a tub. You can find some of these on Amazon that just flatten out when you're done using them, making them super easy to pack into your suitcase. A lot of folks have been turning to TSA PreCheck recently to help skip over the massive security lines for many airports, which really comes in handy when you're dealing with lines at MCO at the end of your Disney World vacation. I really have never seen lines that get longer than they do at MCO. With the purchase of TSA PreCheck, instead of having to wait in forever long lines to take off your shoes, get all the technology out of your carry-ons and into those conveyor belt bins, remove your jackets and your belts and your jewelry, all those basic TSA procedures, TSA PreCheck allows you to skip all those extra steps and breeze on through security with a much shorter line. But here are a few things you need to keep in mind if you pay for TSA PreCheck that might take you off guard if you're not expecting them. First, there's still the chance that you might get randomly flagged and have to go through the bigger machines sometimes. Don't let this throw you off or make you feel like you've been ripped off. TSA is just doing their job and keeping everyone safe. 2, airports do eventually close their TSA PreCheck for the day, so even if you have TSA PreCheck but your flight is later and the TSA PreCheck line is closed, you're just going to have to go through the regular standby line. At Orlando, the TSA PreCheck line is available from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, though hours are subject to change. And 3, certain credit cards will reimburse you for your TSA PreCheck purchase. Nifty, right? So double check and see what your credit card might help you cover before your purchase. This is a dual Disney World Disney Cruise Line tip, so you get a 2 for here, but it'll only help you out if your ship is going to be leaving from Port Canaveral. While parking is available at the cruise terminal for a daily fee if you bring your car, you can also choose to be dropped off by an Uber or Lyft, or you can take advantage of Disney's bus pickup. If you're coming from Disney World or from the Orlando airport, you can purchase ground transportation to and from these locations. However, what many folks don't realize is that you can also use the Disney Cruise Line shuttle service from a Disney World hotel, even if you're not staying there. That means if you're staying at an Airbnb around the Disney area or you're crashing at some other off-property hotel entirely, you can have the Disney Cruise Line shuttle service pick you up at a Disney hotel of your choice. To book your DCL shuttle ride, click on the Already Booked tab via the Disney Cruise Line website and scroll down to the ground transportation option. This tip was recently highlighted in our brand new Ultimate Guide to DCL in 2025 video, so if you want to see even more super tips like that leading up to your vacation across the 7 seas, make sure to check it out when you get a chance.
As the self-proclaimed president of the Disney Pin Trading Fan Club, I thought it was only right for me to pop on one more time to talk a little bit about my favorite hobby. Certain Disney pins are part of collections or series, and you might start feeling the itch to become a completionist for certain collections while you're inside the parks. I know this all too well. Back in the day, I made it my mission to collect all of my Disney Princess nesting dolls, and now they're displayed on my office wall, loud and proud. If you're trying to complete a collection, my best advice is to find a photo of the full set and make a note of what you already have. I can't tell you how many times I accidentally traded a pin that I thought I had multiples of, or I passed up on a pin I needed because I thought I already had it in my possession. Listen, the Florida heat starts to get to you, okay? So just keep tabs on your collection and make sure you're getting and trading the right stuff.
If you want to rope drop one of the parks, but you also want to eat something for breakfast at the start of your day, you don't have to pick and choose one thing or the other, but I get why it might feel that way. Lots of Disney World hotels start serving breakfast after most people leave for rope drop, with the only exception for this being some of the value resort food courts, which usually open around 6:30 a.m. That's why we like to pack those breakfasty foods in our park bags ahead of time, like dry cereal boxes or granola bars, and Bria. Looks like Bria misspelled frosted Pop-Tarts in the script because unfortunately it says unfrosted Pop-Tarts in here. And why would she willingly be choosing an unfrosted Pop-Tart? These are things I don't understand. Bria, get it right. Come on now. Anywho, if you forget to pack breakfast foods, don't sweat it. You can always go grocery shopping once you arrive at Orlando, or you can use Kroger Grocery Delivery. They're going to deliver your groceries to your hotel directly, so you don't have to leave the Disney bubble if you don't want to. And please don't let Bria's mistake steer you wrong. You definitely want the frosted Pop-Tarts. If you're traveling with a bigger group that's over a 4-person limit for Disney's cheaper standard rooms, see if it'll be more affordable for you to book 2 standard rooms right next to each other instead of a Disney villa with more beds. Quick example. On average, a family suite at Art of Animation Resort, which can sleep up to 6 guests, will run you anywhere from $550 to $650 per night or more. But a standard room at Pop Century starts at around $200 per night and sleeps 4 adults. By paying for 2 side-by-side standard rooms at Pop Century, you're not only bumping up your total guest capacity to 8, but you may only end up paying around $400 per night instead of $600 or more. Of course, this plan may not work for parents traveling with younger kids, but if you're visiting with friends or older family members and everyone just needs a little more space, this could be a solid solution. Okay, why is AJ so obsessed with this yellow fruit nonsense today? If you've been following along on our channel for a bit, then you know my beef with Barf Alley and Epcot. And if you're new here, this is a section of World Discovery that has 2 spinning rides within steps of each other, Cosmic Rewind and Mission Space. That could spell danger if you take them on one right after the other. Now, to be fair, Mission Space has 2 ride versions. The orange one spins and the green one doesn't. But the fact that the green mission still puts you in a tight pod with a screen in front of your face and movements to still simulate a rocket takeoff, I don't blame you if you still step off this tamer ride feeling a little queasy. For some folks who want to take these rides back to back, they might feel like keeping an empty stomach is the best way to survive. Others might feel like eating a full meal is a better option. But what do I say? Neither. First of all, I wouldn't attempt to ride these rides back to back at all, even if it seems convenient to do them at the same time because they're right next to each other. But trust me, backtracking is way better than upchecking. However, if for some reason this is just how your schedule for the day plays out, eat a small snack and drink plenty of water before taking on these rides, especially if you're prone to motion sickness. I recommend eating a banana because it's a good source of replenishing electrolytes, and the astronauts themselves give that tip. Plus, it's going to be gentle on your tummy. Nothing too spicy or heavy or acidic, just a nice light snack to help hold you over. Other foods that are gentle and plain and good to eat before riding something really motion heavy: crackers, applesauce, and plain old bread. Want to grab the hot 2025 souvenirs that you see popping up around the parks? Check and see if they're on sale over at the Disney Store website first. DisneyStore.com often has sales featured on their site for authentic Disney park merchandise, which you can actually buy before your park visit, and then you don't have to worry about purchasing it on site and wondering how on earth you're going to fit all your new stuff in your carry-on. Just remember that you'll have to pay shipping on DisneyStore.com unless you hit a certain spending amount or a free shipping offer is available. You may also find fun Disney toy and accessory options for way cheaper at places like Target, Walmart, or Amazon. If you're looking to buy items for the little ones in your group and you want to steer them away from the overpriced balloons and bubble wands and mini ears in the parks, consider buying them some souvenirs from cheaper spots online or locally ahead of your trip. Then you can pack those items with you, and during the trip you can take them out as a fun and much more affordable surprise. Okay, we've talked about a whole lot of points in today's video, but we've still got so many more things to talk about when it comes to your 2025 Disney World visit. I haven't even told you about mobile checkout yet. So if you want to plan the exact dates for each and every Disney World park, be sure to check out our new Ultimate Disney World Guides for 2025 playlist up on our channel now. There's an Ultimate guide for every single park for 2025. And don't forget to pick up our free guide for our best restaurants in Disney World for 2025. See, I told you I'd remind you. Over at DisneyFoodblog.com/top restaurants. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.